I completely forgot about the Oscars. I did not know that the Oscars were this Saturday. Okay, so granted, I guess as far as movies go, I haven't been maybe paying attention to too much lately, just because with the pandemic and the fact that there hasn't been movies in theaters and all the big movies have kind of been temporarily on hold. I haven't really paid attention. And then I know like Variety and Hollywood Reporter reports on this stuff. But I don't regularly read all that. I usually just read, links that are shared, but I don't necessarily go to those sites. So I just have not really heard anybody really talking about the Oscars. It probably doesn't help that there's not like a lot of buzzworthy movies this year as far as bigger name movies or ones that everyone went and saw, because there's really not one that everyone did see because, you know, it's a weirder year. Even with the extension, it's a weirder year. I knew that they were extending it to April, but I guess I kind of glossed over the fact that it was already April. You know, hate to say it. I hate saying things like this, but time is, in fact, moving fast. So I haven't caught up with everything. I usually, last couple years, I've watched all the Best Picture nominees, and that usually kind of helps to figure out the rest of the movies that are, nominated. There's like one or two every year that I need to check out besides the Best Picture nominees, and then, the animated stuff. I have the animated stuff pretty much down. I think there were two additional ones that I hadn't seen, but I've seen the one, like, I think it's between Soul and Wolfwalkers. Um, those are the ones that I enjoyed. I mean, they were both in my top 10 of 2020, so I could see one of those winning. But as far as like the best picture stuff goes, I'm still missing quite a bit. They have some good picks this year. And even the one for international feature, I'm very interested in checking out. The one that everyone is assuming is going to win is Another Round. It's available on Hulu, so I'll probably try to catch that as well. But some of the other Best Picture nominees, I have seen some of them, like Promising Young Woman, which is great. Trial of the Chicago Seven, that was okay. Um, Judas and the Black Messiah, that's another one. That one was okay too. Um, I think I'm missing one because I think there were four of them that I had seen. What is going on? And what is that other movie? Yeah, so the other one was Minari, Mank. Actually, I caught Mank already. That was one of the ones that I had seen, and that one was also kind of okay. That's the thing. A lot of these Best Picture nominees I just found to be okay. I know some of them were critically acclaimed, but I guess I haven't been completely in love with any of the picks so far, except for Promising Young Woman. That was in my top 10 of 2020. And the other ones were The Sound of Metal, which I'm going to try to catch tonight, and then Nomadland, and then The Father, the one with Anthony Hopkins, which that was in the theaters locally, but for a very short time, and I didn't get a chance to see it. But so I don't know exactly how I'm going to see The Father or Minari, since neither of them, I don't think they're available on streaming services. I think that you can pay to rent them, so maybe I'll find a way, but I can try to see on Hulu. They have Nomadland and Sound of Metal, so I might just pull a double feature tonight. I will try to see these before the Oscars, but I'm not too worried about it. I kind of, once I realized that the Oscars were this weekend, I started to kind of feel bad. I was like, I've watched the Oscars every year since I think 2006, might even be before that. I've usually watched the show, but I have always been a watcher of the Oscars. I've tended to watch the Golden Globes in recent years. I didn't watch them this year. That's the thing. It's just, the fact that everything's still at home and even the award shows are still going on with to me, kind of a limited supply of movies. I know that, like, a lot of movies are still released technically and a lot of them qualify, but, it's just kind of a different experience when you don't really, I just don't feel the buzz around the movies right now. Especially the discussions around them, because a lot of these movies don't have any theatrical releases, and I just don't think there's the same kind of buzz when it's streaming, and I think this kind of proves it. There are big things that are on streaming services that become popular, but I don't think some of the Oscar-worthy movies get the same kind of, I don't think people talk about them the same way when they just hit streaming versus if they were in theaters. And I think it also doesn't help that there's not a lot of big movies this year to throw into the mix. I don't really need my big movies, I guess, but That's just what I mean. Like, there's just like a limited conversation, I feel like, about movies in general. It's different. And I will be looking forward to when I can actually start to see the movies again, especially in the bigger theaters, and then see some of the smaller movies at the indie theater in town once that's open again. So I think this year was just a bit of a, I was even questioning if I'd watch the ceremony, but I don't think I can beat a streak like that. I mean, this would basically be like 15 years, maybe even longer, of watching the show every year. So I don't think I'm going to break the tradition at this point, and I'll just have to accept that I haven't seen as many movies. But that's what happens. Welcome to this era of time. But let's try to catch up.